To the Monday, March 13th meeting of the Pine Bluffs Town Council. Will everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh,
Got it, thank you.
the water. Yeah.
Okay. I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Kim.
Motion carries.
The bills?
On to new business.
Thank you.
Item number 1 is the Region 7 Hazardous Mitigation Plan 2023 update. So welcome.
Everything up here is fine?
Yep.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, for having
Me out tonight. As it's obvious, I am not Janine West.
I got to that point, and stumbled a little bit. So
right. So my name is Matt Butler. I'm the operations coordinator for the Cheyenne-Laramie County Emergency Management Agency. And again, I want to thank you all for letting us come out tonight to present this. Janine sends her regards why she couldn't make it. She had something pop up. So the Wyoming Region 7 Hazard Mitigation Plan, the 2023 update, is a document prepared by local emergency management with the corporation of municipalities such as yourself, special districts, the county, and the state under FEMA guidelines. It's a recurrent document, meaning that it's updated every 5 years, and this year, the last update we did was in 2018, so it was due to be updated this year. We worked local emergency management. This is a regional plan, so it consists of Platte, Goshen, and Laramie counties. Each of those counties have an individual annex within the plan. There's an overview section of the plan, and then each county has an annex with that. So we worked with a contractor that was hired through the State Office of Wyoming Homeland Security. We began this process in early 2022, and it included partner meetings, staff meetings, and as well as public input. So I'm here before you today to accept the resolution adopting the 2023 update. The main purpose of this plan is to categorize and come up with a list of hazards that we as Laramie County as a whole face on a yearly basis or could potentially face going forward. But it also captures the mitigation efforts that we may be able to do to help us recover from these hazards in these areas that we are in. One of the main examples that we often use is flooding and retention ponds. Retention ponds are very expensive to build and to be done right. Drainage, if you guys pay attention to the city council, they're having a good discussion on drainage right now at Cheyenne City Council. But we can apply for these funds, and by you adopting this plan tonight, will allow the town of Pine Bluffs to apply directly through FEMA to get mitigation funding. It is a competitive process for this, but it would allow you as a town to apply directly through FEMA to get mitigation funding for anything from flooding to code adoption help or any type of natural hazard that we were able to mitigate. You could be the applicant to the funding. So with that, I'm sorry I don't have a big presentation for you. I would like to thank Kim Patterson. She was instrumental in getting the town of Pine Bluffs involvement in this and providing updates. So I thank you, Kim, for that. And I'd be happy to answer any questions or have any further discussion that you all may have.
Well, I'd like to admit that I read both parts, but I only saw the first part. So I didn't realize we had two different documents here, right? So, yeah, I don't have much input on that. I guess it's the Platte County one. I don't really need to know about
Yeah, so it is broken up, so.
that. It's like,
We,
it seems like a lot of Platte counties.
yeah. The reason that they moved it to more of a regional process is because the state did start taking ownership on helping us create this plan. And it's easier for them to get the funding for a contractor if we do it more geographically, regionally, and have them coordinate with us.
So what was the process for like the threat data?
Yeah, so we look at historical data, and that was one of the things that delayed this a little bit. When they came back with their first draft, they didn't have some historical data, and by historical, I mean the 2016 Pine Bluffs hailstorm wasn't in there. Why that wasn't in there, we don't know. But that's where that data comes back on, is both reported damage through National Weather Service, whether that be severe weather incidents, or through like the National Fire Incident Reporting System for big fires. Any type of data they collect is all based off historical and projected future outcomes of the area. So as you see through that, like earthquake is listed, but that's not a major concern for Laramie County. Yes, earthquakes happen in Laramie County, but we don't have a major concern, so it doesn't rank very high on our threat chart per se. Whereas severe weather, hazardous materials, those type of incidents that we see a lot are going to be ranked higher, and a lot of that is just based off of historical records as well as what we all experience on a year-to-year basis.
And then after that, you combine that with the list of what people feel
Yeah.
threats.
Yep, and so that's why we did go out to public comment for this, to get, we're a three-person office. There's Janine West, who's the director, myself, and Beth Harris. We're only a three-person office. There's a number of municipalities within Laramie County, but that is one reason that we go out to the public to see what they rank, right? Are they worried about severe weather? Maybe not. And that's something, this plan is for the whole community. That's a really hot button term in emergency management, is the whole community. And it's just that, it's for the whole community. So if their threats or their hazards ranked higher than what we thought, we would take that into account when we rank those, absolutely.
For no other reason than it's interesting, I found the distribution modeling of historic hail events in Laramie County just to be
Yeah, and that,
fascinating. And I feel like it's reported along roadways, so it looks very strange, but
right. And that is kind of the give and take, right? Being that Laramie County is a rural community, it's going to happen more so in those population centers, which would include roadways, right? As people drive down that roadway, they're going to see it. Whereas a house, way out in the distance that is a house on a section of land, they may have a lot of hail, but it's not going to get reported because it was the one house.
right.
Interesting.
Anybody have any questions for Matt?
I don't have any questions for Matt. Thank you.
Of course.
I too find it interesting, though. I
Yeah.
remember last time, it was fascinating to go through.
Yeah, it's one of the documents that I think we glean the most out of, because it does represent the whole community, like I said. I mean, we truly do try to get everyone's perspective, from municipalities, special districts, citizens, everyone. A lot of times our plans are so office-centric, but this is definitely one of those plans that we can get out into the public and get their opinions on for sure.
Well, some of the data reminded me that it does rain here. I was starting to wonder, but looking back through, I'm like, did it really rain that much?
Yeah, I'm also
years ago?
I'm also the county fire warden, so the rain one is very interesting to me.
So,
We did
Alright.
improve with our drought monitor last week, so
that's good.
not by much, but we did improve.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
I guess we will move on to item number 2, which is Resolution 2023-05, a resolution to adopt the Wyoming Region 7 Hazardous Mitigation Plan 2023 update.
I move to adopt resolution 2023-05.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2023-05. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3 is Resolution 2023-06. A resolution amending the fiscal year 2023 budget for the community center gym floor and painting project.
Mayor and Town Council, in your council packets, you will see a proposal to have Rocky Mountain Decks and Floors. They are the people that put in the gym floor the last time. So they're familiar with our facility. But, you know, the gym floor is starting to have some issues. So we would be using it would be a new resin that we would be putting on the top of the floor. They would repair any cracks or other issues in the floor, and they would prep it for the new resin. And then after the new resin, they would put on a new top coat, put in the basketball, volleyball, and pickleball courts, and apply some new rubber base around the edge of the wall. To complete that portion of the project is just under $30,000. I've proposed to you that we go with a gray floor with blue keys and blue stripes. The colors that you're seeing on your computer screen are probably a little bit darker than they are in real life. I do have the color samples in the office that I could show to you, but I think that it will be a nice refresh for the gym there. And I just want to make you all aware that for several years that Sonia and the rec department have put aside funds from rentals at the community center, and that money has gone into a savings account, and that is specifically for refurbishing the gym. So we do have more than enough funds in that savings account to cover the gym floor refurbishment as well as a paint refresh on the walls. I am proposing that paint also cover the ceiling. If you ever go in there and look up at the ceiling, it almost looks like when it was originally painted, it all kind of sucked into that acoustical ceiling. And so in order to brighten up the gym as a whole, because it's pretty dull in there, we would add the painting. And we're also in the process of getting a proposal from High West to replace the light fixtures with LED because they are currently high pressure, I think high pressure sodium bulbs. Anyway, they're very costly bulbs and they're very costly to operate in the gym. But we haven't got that proposal in time for this. So for now, we would like permission. That would be kind of the last thing we would do anyway. So for now, we would like permission to pull the funding to go ahead and get the painting done. The painting would be done in the March-April timeframe, and it would be done before graduation events start happening and other springtime events that start happening in the community center. And then the gym floor would be kind of done after that. So probably during the month of June, we would have them come in. The community center would remain open through all of that, just not the gym part. So people could still use the fitness center and all that.
Awesome.
And so the resolution before you is to move $42,326 from our general savings account into our operating account in a project created called the Community Center Gym Refurbishment Project.
Great. So, I see the floor quote. Do we have a painting quote?
Oh, we do. It is 17,000 and some change. And that does include, again, the ceiling with all of those cross members, the walls, putting a new stripe on the wall. It also includes like painting other things like this, the backboard, what do you call them, the stanchions, the metal handrails, the metal trim around the doors, so that everything flows. And the proposal for the color on the walls will be a little bit of a lighter shade than the floor of gray, with a dark blue stripe, and then an even lighter shade, and then a very light shade, if almost white, on the ceiling to help with the lighting in there, make it brighter.
I like your color choices, whoever chose those. I think they're unique. And kudos to the Recreation Department for preparing for this. I like hearing that. Personal, I think definitely we should support this. The community centers, you know, kind of one of our central points of the community, and keeping it looking good and fresh is important.
We should also point out that they're doing a small repair job at the same time, right? They will do
Yes,
that
yes,
prior
we
to-
have some cracks in the flooring and all that. Oh, and yes, something else you should be aware of, that this is not anything we're pulling out of savings, it's just part of our regular operating budget, is that the addition that was put onto the community center in 2009, I think it was it 2009, 2010 timeframe? That corner of the building, the extension to the building is really only that piece that has the stairway in it. But it is sinking a little bit. So we do have a company coming out to inject underneath the foundation of that and bring it back up to level.
Great.
Bubba's fault. I was the concrete supplier. Oh, I didn't even say that. You were the only one here at the time, or Alex, I guess, maybe.
That was on the council.
Well, I will move to adopt the resolution 2023-06.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2023-06. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution adopted, I guess. Item number 4 on our list is the municipal sewer rate proposal.
Mayor and council, you probably had an opportunity to read through the proposed rate change that I sent to you via email, along with the spreadsheet that we put together that pretty much listed every single resident and business in the community, so that you could see the impact that the rate change would have on all the families that you represent here in Pine Bluffs. You know, one of the things that I really wanted to take into consideration was how an increase would impact homes that are on a fixed income, so primarily senior citizens, as well as homes where you have just single individuals living and they really don't have as much usage in the winter months. So I really took that into consideration when proposing that we went with a 3,000 gallon base as opposed to a 2,000 gallon base. It seemed like we brought in a little bit larger section of the community. So as you can see, out of the 451 residential taps, that 234 of them would see an increase of $3 or less in their bill based on where they were in 2022. I guess before I go further, I also want to stress that these estimates were based on 2022 consumption for January, February, and March. Our consumption in 2023 is going to be a little bit different for some folks. One thing that it did bring to our attention is that we had some households that were using a bit more water in January, February, and March than we thought was normal. So Jackie and Renee reached out to several of those folks, asking them, you know, to please go ahead and check things for like running water and things like that in their house. And we've had a couple of people that we were able to see a drastic drop in their water usage overnight once they replaced that toilet that was running 24/7, 365, and different situations like that. So if we have folks that were in what we considered a higher than what we thought would be normal for that size household, we did reach out to them. We have a few more folks that we want to reach out to for other reasons before we finalize all this. That's why I just want to present this to you, and I don't have a resolution for you tonight, in case you had any other questions or if we needed to do any other housekeeping. But before you, the proposal that I have are the residential rate to change to a base rate of $15, and that will include 3,000 gallons usage. We have historically never included any gallons for usage, so this helps offset the increase of that base amount, or per 1,000 gallon amount of $1.65. The commercial taps were, commercial and industrial taps were never considered as a separate rate, so we are proposing that we have a commercial less than 1-inch tap rate of $20 for base with 3,000 gallons and $1.65. A commercial for greater than 1-inch tap of $25 with a 5,000 gallon base and a per 1,000 gallon rate of $1.80. In industrial taps, keeping in mind that industrial doesn't mean the type of business, it means that they use on average more than 20,000 gallons per month during the months of January, February, and March. So for those businesses, there would be a $30 base rate, 10,000 gallons are included, and then 10,000 of 50,000 gallons at a rate of $2, and anything over 50,000 gallons, a rate of $2.50. You will see an average variance of all residential customers of $3.15. Again, that's an average. We have some people that are below $3, and we have some that are above. And those breakdowns are provided to you on your synopsis tab. Average rate increase for commercial is $9.09. Commercial greater than 1-inch, $13.33, and industrial, $88.76. Again, these are average variances for the whole category. We will continue to do housekeeping over the course of the next few weeks until we approve a resolution to move forward. Does anybody have any questions about how we determined the rates or about any housekeeping concerns that may be out there with our customers?
Mayor, I have a question.
Sure.
Through you too. So, is there a metric whereby these things automatically switch from commercial to industrial, or, I mean, does that go on a monthly basis?
It will, no, it will be, it's annual based on, so commercial will never change. Commercial is commercial, and that's based on your water connection.
Gotcha, okay.
Yep, so, and then, industrial is a commercial water connection, but hand in hand with that, they are probably 90% of the time, they are also considered our large commercial customers as they tie in with our electric demand.
So what happens to an industrial customer if, if the business has a downturn or something where they cut back and their previous year justified charging them on the industrial scale, but then they're just sailing along and they're not making that?
Sure. I would imagine that if the business had a significant change to its business plan or its business structure, then that would be something that we would bring before you to change them down to a, downgrade them to a commercial
You're
customer.
saying mid-year.
Yeah.
Like, they would always be reviewed every March or whenever. April,
Yes,
March,
yeah.
in that time frame. But I think mid-year, we do need, I mean, that's a steep enough rate where I feel like people need an opportunity to, and we're not gonna catch the people going up. Nobody's gonna, we don't have a mechanism that I know of to continually keep an eye on that, but I think individual businesses will have to come and say,
Right.
to get a mid-year change, as far as I know.
So one of the things that I did when I was going through each customer, especially looking at the commercials, was if I had a customer that was really close to that 20,000 gallons, whether it be on the above 20,000 or below, I went and looked at their history. Because we did have some customers that, again, I'm estimating this based on their 2022 usage, but we do have some customers that are kind of on the border, and I wanted to be sure. So I did look at even previous years, like 2021, 2020, to see if there was possibly a business that didn't by chance have a leak that we might not have been aware of. I mean, that did come into play with one small commercial account where, gosh, that seems awfully high, and, inevitably, somebody in the office was aware that, oh yeah, that they had a leak at their building and they got it fixed during the month of January, that's why that January seemed high. Or I also looked at our billing trends too, because if we had some months that were off by a few days and it was maybe based on a production schedule, I also kind of double checked that stuff. So I don't think we'll see a significant decrease unless there is, again, a business that changes their business profile completely, and maybe they are downgrading, or maybe they've opened a second facility, so that now the first facility isn't as using as much in the.
Yeah, I guess my concern was that there be some kind of appeal process that people know about to kind of, meet that need.
I do actually think this very exact scenario is going to happen this year. And so, yeah, I think we need a mechanism to look at.
Right, absolutely. And I think when it comes time to actually, again, that we'll have to take this year's readings for January, February, and March, and that may change who is on the industrial list.
Well, typically, I mean, we don't have a utilities board. I mean, this is it.
Sure.
Right.
We're lucky guys. But typically, it comes to the administrator, it'd be you guys. And then, if they're not, in consort with what you're doing, then they'd have the right to ask for an appeal to the council, something along those lines. It kind of gets you off the hook too, because
Right.
puts the blame with the elected people where it belongs.
Sure.
So, am I then in that resolution able to create that
I
as a
think so.
statement in the resolution?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I mean, there might be some thinking that it actually belongs in the code. We could take a look at that both ways, and
Okay,
it wouldn't be a big deal to throw it in the code either.
sure.
That
Okay.
way you wouldn't have it coming up for grabs every time you needed to deal with the rates.
But I also think that you need to show 3 consecutive months in a different class
Yeah,
code.
I think you build that into the
Yes.
arrangement so that people are all on an even playing field.
Yeah.
Either that, I mean, it could be it could be a variety of metrics. I mean, it could be 3 consecutive months, or a steep decline, like they,
Right.
Nearly
basically
ceased
shut down,
operation.
and they've got proof of that or something. But we
Sure.
can maybe think that through
Absolutely.
and come up with some way of addressing it.
What about, like, commercial customers that use a lot of water, but they don't have a sewer tap?
If they don't have a sewer tap, then it's either going directly onto the surfaces of the ground as irrigation,
No.
or they're filling up a fertilizer tank and heading out to
It's a
somebody's
septic
field
system.
and,
but they're a big user of water,
Sure.
but then.
If they're on a septic system, then they don't get a sewer bill at all.
Right, but I just wanted to know if, they're just getting charged for the water. But
Correct.
I just wanted to know that they wasn't getting charged for
Correct, yes. No, they do not, they have not been a sewer customer, and they will not become a sewer customer if they have individual septic service. Because we have a bunch of properties out there on, I think, North Main or something like that are like that.
I guess that's a good question for Alex too, is when we adopt this resolution, whatever it looks like, I think a question for all of us is, we're having a hard time fitting everyone within a box. We have customers that we know, these are not, obviously the reason we gauge January, February, March is so we get people's sprinkler use out of the calculation for homeowners, which is great. That perfectly fits their scenario, but there's other commercial users, for instance, that might be completely inverse to the amount of sewer they're using at a different time of the year. And so I don't know how complex or our ability to gauge it on different months.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Is there a reason why you don't do an annual scope on that?
Well, we can, but there would only be like 2 or 3 facilities that would be in on that.
No, you're saying everyone use an annualized rate?
Yeah, I mean,
Because of sprinkler
Yeah,
irrigation.
because of irrigation.
Lawn irrigation.
how about just commercial? Just do an annual on those or something.
That's,
Sure. We could,
Yeah, how much-
however,
I don't want
then we
burden
have
it,
the
but-
one-off of those businesses like Frenchman Valley Co-op, that they use a ton of water in the summertime, but it's filling up all of their chemical tanks, and they're driving it off to a field somewhere and spreading it on the ground. So it's not going, so that their usage is high. So we have a one-off either way. But as far as the one-off in the direction of, we know they use a ton more in the summertime and it's not irrigation, those we know of off the top of our heads, and it's easier to justify, I think, whereas the others are kind of an unknown. We assume they're filling all their tanks with it and driving away.
my concern now in thinking about it is if our standards aren't set forth pretty concrete, that we have a lot of potential,
Uncertainty.
people coming to us about this
Not being
thing,
fair
this
and-
one,
yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Like, and I completely get it both ways, I just, and here's another question for you, Alex, in terms of what you've seen in other municipalities is, so at the Board of Public Utilities, do they care?
You
Do
know,
they
that,
care when you use it or don't use it? They just have a rate and they,
well, I
Go
can say
for
in
it.
general, they don't care about much.
In Cheyenne, they do base it on January, February, March usage
they?
for residential for sure. I would imagine they do it for all their customers, but, they also have like 20 different
They're a lot higher
rate
than this,
structures,
too.
and yes, they are. And they also base even residential on every individual tap size and not just a 1 inch or greater.
Do you have any idea what South Cheyenne Water and Sewer does on that?
I do not.
Well, if you're concerned, I don't know if this would even be possible, but since the goal is for residential, we do it the 3 months that are their lowest water usage generally, January, February, March. Could you kind of combine that annual part where you could take their 3 lowest months across the year and use that as your rate for your commercial?
I think my feeling is we might not be getting to the we might arrive at the same place we're at now, but I don't know that. And I think to everyone's point, we're sitting here, we have the luxury of being small enough that we're thinking of individual locations and things in our mind where if we were a city of 70,000 people, we wouldn't have that luxury, so we would just make a rule and sorry, you haul 90% of your water consumption out into a field and apply it on the ground. That's not our, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't know that that's fair, but I'm pretty sure that's what they would do.
You better drill your own well.
Well, I guess we're not at a decision point, but any other thoughts?
Another thing I just want to throw out there is that the Board of Public Utilities every year votes to change their rates, so they, yeah. So, I don't want to ever get into that situation, but, they do.
I do have one quick question. We have another water rate increase just as part of the one we had done last year, right? So can we just make sure that it doesn't hit our customers
They won't,
at
that's
the same
scheduled in
time?
September.
Okay,
Sewer changes every year in April based on January, February, March usage.
excellent. That was
So they
my-
wouldn't see it until their May bill.
Sure.
And then the water, they won't see until their October bill.
Okay, that's answers sufficiently. Thank you.
You're welcome. So here's how they actually do it in Cheyenne. They don't have a separate per gallon rate for industrial or commercial or South Cheyenne Water and Sewer District. They have different base rates for those categories, but their sewer rate per 1,000 gallons is based on the size of the tap. So presumably a business that uses a lot more water is gonna have a much larger tap, and they pay a lot more money. So they have taps ranging from 5/8, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 6 inch, 12 inch, all, and everything in between.
So can you give us the 1 inch?
So the 1 inch
rate per gallon?
is $6.69 per 1,000 gallons. But the, I'm sorry, that is, yeah. And then this doesn't make sense to me how they have it in their resolution, but then they also have a different base rate. Their base rate ranges from 567 to 582.
Don't have to use very many 1,000 gallons before that adds up.
I'm sorry, I got that completely backwards. Their base rate is based on their meter size, and that ranges from 1 inch of $6.69 all the way up to 12 inch of $99.04 for the base rate. There you go, sorry. And then their per 1,000 gallons ranges from $5.67 per 1,000 gallons to $5.82 per 1,000 gallons. And so, a couple of meetings ago, we went through kind of a breakdown of where we would be if the average use was 5,000 gallons. And Pine Bluffs was still very low to, compared to Cheyenne and other municipalities in this area, like, I know they're in Nebraska, but Kimball, because they're fairly close, and they're, not a ton smaller than, they're bigger than we are, but not like us compared to Albin. And then we also compared it to other municipalities similar in our size in the state of Wyoming. And even other municipalities similar to our size we were probably in the bottom 25% of rates overall.
Any other thoughts about this?
And so, if y'all could maybe look at the synopsis, or not the synopsis, but the email, attachment, where I give you the, proposed, rate increase. And it's in the last table at the bottom. If that is something that you all agree with, then I can put that in the form of a resolution and with further discussion with Alex on how to take into account any major change to a business that would lead them to decrease from industrial to commercial or vice versa.
Okay. Good?
Yep.
All right, thanks. Item number 5, municipal building custodial contract to 2023. We don't, I guess we should just get the two contract, we have 2 contracts.
Yes, we originally had 3. One bidder pulled their package, and that's the one that is currently doing the custodial here at the municipal building. So we have 2 remaining bids.
Okay.
Are those bids on here, or are they just in the last meeting,
They're under the
think-
last meeting,
a couple meetings ago?
There would
or
have been that
whenever that was.
January one.
I don't,
Yeah, January.
It's an overall difference of $3,000 a year between the 2 contracts. The current budget in place is for the higher of the 2. Just in case you're wondering about how it will impact the budget. And that rate has been in place at $9,600 a year for the last 4 years. So while a savings is always a good thing, I would like to point out that the one that is at a lower rate is a municipal employee that currently works in this building, so.
Well, I guess I would hear a motion. We can have a discussion.
I move to award the contract for $9,600. For Carleen Graves.
It's been moved to award the contract for Carleen Graves. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to award the contract for Carleen Graves. Any discussion?
Which,
I'm sorry, Carleen Graves is at $9,600 a year.
I'm looking at it.
Oh, sorry.
Which one withdrew their,
Kaden Lemon withdrew
Okay.
her bid,
all right.
yes.
Okay. So, we was kind of going around and not mentioning names.
I'm sorry, I should, yes, so it's Carleen Graves has the bid for 96.
I pulled it up in
Okay, got it, I'm
That's-
sorry. I
that's
should have
meeting
attached
that
it
I
a second
forgot,
time.
So anyway, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was in the January council packet.
So
Back to January.
I will just put my 2 cents in if we're discussing this, that, obviously fiscally, we would rather take the smaller amount. That being said, personally, although I don't think it probably breaks any laws, it's, I just don't think it's in our best interest to award contracts to current, whether it's this contract or any other contract to current town employees. I'm not in favor of that, but obviously,
Kind of makes it seem like inside trading type of deal.
there's just a lot of potential conflict, in my opinion. So,
I agree.
any other discussion, thoughts?
Well, I agree with your points. I think if we wanted to make that a requirement, it probably should have been stated in the beginning rather than after the fact. And since accepting the lowest bid is generally the way it goes, it seems kind of out of place, and in my opinion, kind of lacks some integrity just to change it after the fact. This year, perhaps we award it to the lowest bid, and then next year change it to fit those requirements that we prefer.
Now, what about her husband that works for the town? Carlene's husband works for the town. And Carlene is an ex-employee of the town.
So I will just go through my, I prefer neither. That's my point. I prefer the conflict, that we have no conflict at all. But if I had to rate the conflicts in terms of which one seems like a bigger conflict, that's where I'm at. But that's just my opinion.
Doesn't Renee clean the airport too? Now, how'd she get that job if she still works for the town? She cleans the airport.
Renee stepped in to pick up cleaning the airport when the person that was cleaning the airport passed away.
Right, and
So
she still
we did
has
not,
it.
we did not put that out for bid. Yes, she still maintains cleaning out at the airport. I would just like to request that if we go with the lowest bidder, that the oversight for that contract fall on a council member. And that way there is no conflict within our own office with either one of us.
Well, any
And
other-
I don't mean to imply that there would be a conflict, you know what I mean, an issue. I just want to say that if there ever was, I wouldn't want that contract oversight to be something that would put either Jackie or myself in an uncomfortable position.
No, that makes sense.
Of course, you may feel differently, but
Any other
They
discussion?
do understand that we pay her insurance.
Anyone?
we do.
Alex, do you want to weigh in?
I think you summarized, I mean, we looked at it, there isn't anything unlawful about it.
Okay. Well, the motion is on the floor, been moved and seconded to award the contract to Carleen Graves. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
I guess I will break the tie. I will vote for Carleen Graves. So, motion carries to accept the custodial contract for 2023 to Carleen Graves. Next item is visitor comments.
This is gonna be me. Hi, you guys. My name's Barbara Martinez. I know you've seen me in here a couple times. I actually do live here. I have some questions, but like you said about the water, because my electric bill already doubled, so I'd prefer my water don't. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I live by you too. Your problem with the commercials, wouldn't it just be as easy, like, because you said they fill up those water tanks to have them call and let you guys know so you can shut the sewer down at that time?
It's a bit more complex than that, I would say. We don't really know what they're doing with their water all the time, but we're gonna evaluate those.
I haven't lived here very long, so I'm kind of confused on some things. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was trying to read your guys' page updates, and they said that we were gonna be voting for council members this year. But it doesn't give no details. I don't think I should have to call and say, hey, when do I gotta have it in by, or when is it gonna be? It should be on there, shouldn't it?
Well, on the website,
Yes.
I haven't looked out the website, but I'm sure it's on there.
Oh, I got these off of there. It's not on there. I know what is on there is, you gotta be able to do it 35 days before something, and that's all it says.
Can I see?
Oh, it's just the, I hit double click on my printer last night,
It's
so.
right here, March 8th to the 28th.
Oh, no,
Those are your
when,
filing dates.
oh, those, no, when is the
It's
voting?
May 2nd,
thank you.
the election.
That's what I was asking about, yes. Okay. And the other thing is I have friends from Cheyenne, and this is what I really don't understand. Because you guys are all here, you're my town people, right? Why am I getting my friend from Cheyenne telling me I'm having a meeting this month at the community center?
A meeting with regard to what?
Due to the meeting to the Air Force, we'll set up stations to explain stuff to all of the landowners about the program.
Well, we fully advertised that meeting the first time we were going to have it. It was canceled because of weather. I don't know where we're at. Like, I wasn't aware of the rescheduled date either, but,
I mean, if you would like, I can show you this.
So the Air
rescheduled
Force
date is
sends us
March
what we're allowed
27th.
to publish and not publish, so if we haven't received anything from the Air Force yet, then we're not allowed to publish it. We can't make up an advertisement for the Air Force.
Well, they have it on their site.
Okay, they haven't given it to us. So
Okay.
we don't normally go looking at other sites to see what we could potentially advertise and not advertise, but they give us an official press release and an official notification that we're allowed to post on Facebook. And we usually get that from their Public Affairs Department. But since you said you have found that, we will be happy to reach out to Air Force Public Affairs and ask them if they could provide us with a copy of something that we could get out to the public on our site.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I mean, I really don't work. Well, I work at home, but I set up appointments and everything for my husband, and I go set appointments up elsewhere. So I think it's just, a little bit, we should have a little bit more notice than, hey, 3 days from now, we're having a meeting. And we'll explain everything to you guys then. I mean, we knew about them
but
coming
this
in.
isn't, just mind you, this is not our meeting. Like,
Yeah.
we're happy to do the best we can on behalf of the Air Force and our citizens that may be impacted by that, and I think we all are, but, mind you, this is not our meeting. We're providing a venue for the meeting, but it is not a town-sponsored meeting.
Okay. It's not a town okay. Was there a way we could ask them that from now on, just give us more notice?
I read that on Facebook. The meeting's March 27th at 6 o'clock at the community center. And I read that last week,
Yeah.
you know, so, God, that was pretty notice to me.
Oh, I don't get, I don't get no notices from you guys from Facebook. I'm signed up, don't get me wrong.
I didn't
but
get
don't
it from
them.
the town. I got
Yeah.
it from the, whoever set it out was the military or whoever was running
Yeah.
the meeting. I didn't get it from the town.
Well, we will try to look into that, as Kim explained, and we will,
And
try to do
then,
better at that.
Ms. Martinez, if you have a moment to visit with me either after the meeting or sometime during the week, I would like to talk to you about your electric bill because I show almost a double in your consumption as well. So maybe we have an issue that we need to address on your consumption, like if you're running a lot of space heaters or something, we can give you tips on how to lower that to get your bill back down to where it was.
Yeah, okay, I'll talk to you about that. I mean, like I said, I don't want my water doubling with my heating bill, so yeah.
Right, but our electric rates did not double.
Okay.
I think what I'm seeing here is that you have a significant increase in your consumption, and I'd like to help you with that. So let's see how we can resolve that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'll talk to you after
Okay,
that.
great.
Okay, that's fine. All right, well, thank you guys very much for your
Thank
time.
you. Any other visitor comments?
Yeah, I've got one. You guys have anything to say? I was gonna let you go first. Go ahead. Thank you, you insist. Yeah, well, I got a couple of things that I just wanted to talk about a little bit. Over at the senior center, the front steps going down there, there's a corner broke off of one step. And it's not a real big issue, but then again, if it's covered with snow and you can't see it, somebody could get their foot in there and it's between, the rail is right there, they could get their foot caught and maybe break their ankle or something. I was wondering if somebody could look at it.
We've already looked at it and we have it scheduled for repair.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Well, I didn't know, but I just thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, the weather hasn't been the best for making concrete
Is there
repairs,
anybody here in
but-
town that can do that stuff?
No,
Didn't figure there was.
but we have a contractor that's gonna take care of it for us.
That's
But in the
good.
meantime, is there something we can do to draw your attention to that? Maybe paint it bright yellow or something?
Well, I don't even walk through there. I use the ramp when I go in.
No, okay.
But I just was concerned about other people maybe having a problem with it.
Well, I think that's a great solution. We'll get somebody over there and paint the
I
jagged
figured
edge
you
of
probably
it.
would,
Just
but I didn't know
something
if you knew about it or not.
Yes, Alicia brought it to our attention.
Yeah, she's pretty up on all that stuff. Does a good job over there. So, this other thing that I come in to talk about, it's not, well, I'm gonna try to be nice about it. Not get carried away, but the letter to the editor in the Pine Bluffs Post last week from Nellie Sturman was saying anyway that she apparently forgot to pay her town bill or whatever happened. Anyway, she got a notice from the town on the 27th of February saying that she was gonna have her utilities disconnected on the 27th. And she didn't realize that being older people, sometimes we forget. And anyway, the town sent her a note out saying, we're gonna disconnect it tomorrow. She said they didn't send her a notice saying, hey, if you forgot, it'd be nice if you could come by and take care of it or anything. My concern about that basically is, you know, things happen. She could have been maybe gone seeing some relatives or something, or in the hospital, and if she didn't get that notice, then she'd come back home and no utilities.
I'm gonna speak on behalf of our town clerk, and if she wants to add anything, that'd be great. But we have pretty strict protocols about how notices go out, how people are notified, not just once, but multiple times. And I assure you, especially this time of year, every effort would be given to try to ensure that didn't happen.
That would be,
So, I,
Okay.
while I understand your concern, is we don't make a habit of just
well, she should be.
running amok
She should
with-
be given a couple of chances to take care of it before you start disconnecting everything.
well,
That's,
Can I fill you in on our procedure, Mayor?
Sure.
The bill is due on the 21st of the month. On the 22nd, a late notice goes out. It does not say you're gonna be cut off in a day. That would be a separate cutoff notices, and that, you get a big red sign on your door. You don't want that. But as soon as somebody receives that penalty notice, if they call us right away, and again, sometimes we try to catch who everybody is, and we try to, phone call with
she could have
everybody.
possibly been not home during that period of time.
Absolutely, but you know, it's more than like 5 people that get this late notice. But I can assure you that once we talk to the individual, as with Ms. Sturman, we immediately reduced her penalty and we excluded her from the cutoff. So, and that's generally how we handle it. So, and just another thing to throw out there, even though somebody might get a cutoff notice, which now that means it's another 10 days after you've got this, that before somebody would be cut off, we would never cut anybody in the community off of their electricity in the middle of the winter time, considering they need to run their furnaces. So just so that you, mayor and council members, are aware of how we operate in the town offices when it comes to utility billing, the system does spit out these notices. We do try to, you know, go through as many of them as possible, but sometimes there's in excess of 100 of them. So they just go out, and sometimes people need to call us and make those arrangements to make the payment happen.
I see what you're saying. I had that situation happen to me back years ago. Our town policeman at that time was Leland Rear. Some of you might remember him. Anyway, he come to my house one day with a disconnect notice. Said that they hadn't got paid. And I told him, I said, well, I mailed it somewhere between the post office and getting here. It didn't get here. So stuff like that happens.
all right, anything else on your mind tonight?
Well, just the last part of this letter that she's got here, she said when she come in here to pay the bill that whoever she was dealing with was kind of rude and whatever. You probably read the letter, most of you probably seen it. Anyway, you need to make sure that whoever's dealing with the public is respectful to the people that they're dealing with. I had a case back, it's probably been a year ago maybe. A friend of mine from Kimball was wanting to move up here, possibly find some land to move a trailer house in. And he was looking for a place to go, and in the process, he called the town hall to see what they could tell him, you know, as far as having lots available. And he was told that we don't really want trailer house trash in this town. So that's, I brought that up because I wanted.
I highly doubt one of our town employees said that, Gary.
He don't, he's a Christian man, he don't lie.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for your comments tonight.
But I wanted that brought up to the council so that you know about it. Anyway, I appreciate your time.
For the record, for any customer that has any issues when they come to the town hall, if it's with a town employee, they can feel free to call me and bring it to my attention, and I will handle your concern very quickly.
You're never available when I come in here. You're always in your office with the door closed.
Yeah.
Well,
Won't answer the door. You're always on a meeting or you're.
you've come to my
Thank
office
you.
door, because usually I can see you through the window.
We're good.
But anyway, and of course, if there's ever a concern with me, the public is always welcome to contact the mayor or a council member directly.
Thank
So
you.
just throwing that out there.
Any other visitor comments? Hearing none, department reports, Jana? I think we fully covered one of yours.
Yes, I was updated about that, and that she had
Yes.
reached out to Kim. It's also not in a spot where people would usually be walking, so it's good that we're gonna get it fixed. As it continues to crumble, it could get worse, but right now,
That's caused, there's three things that cause it. Cold, icy weather, putting lots of salt or
That's why I
some
wasn't sure
kind
which
of
one
stuff
you
on the
wanted.
concrete and sealing the concrete.
Either way.
Concrete should be sealed every other year with Thompson's water seal or something like that to keep that salt from migrating into it and then chipping it off.
Does anybody do that?
No, absolutely not. And
I should do that.
I'm an old concrete guy and heck, I don't care. So, anyway, but that's what
We've
should
now
happen.
corrupted your whole department.
that is okay. That was an old one, and it was more of a for your information rather than a
Yeah.
report, but since Jerry brought it up, I was happy to show you pictures she sent me. So the only thing she really wanted to pass on was, this was from our last meeting, she just hadn't responded to me, she was on vacation. They had both of the buildings rooftop heaters quick for about a month. One had the fan motor quit, it was replaced, the other one needed a new disconnect, and that was also fixed. It took a while to fix because the snow on the roof kept the workers from fixing it. But she did mention that the units are getting old and showing age. She didn't really go into detail because I don't think she was giving detail, but just that there's probably going to be more repairs in the future. And that is it.
Well,
I don't have nothing. But I do remember when that heating unit was put up there.
oh, yeah, I think we all remember when the heating unit went up there. Something got tipped over.
Yeah.
So what I have is just, I wasn't here this weekend, but judging by all the photos and the posts, it looked like the youth basketball tournament this weekend was quite a success and a lot of fun had by all, and we appreciate the rec department and other town employees who were involved in making that happen for our community. Ally?
Not much. The ambulance service was given some AEDs, which they then updated the police department, allowing the police department to give Alicia at the senior center a new one, so, or an extra one. So those were positive things. They were hoping to get some more. We'll see what happens.
The only thing I found, 5th and Main Street, on 5th Street, going to the west, but maybe about 15 feet in, somebody tore up the blacktop up there pretty good. I mean, it's tore up, and I was gonna bring it up to Kim, and I forgot all about it.
Fifth and Main?
5th and Main.
So that was one that had the top coat
Yeah, that
put
one
on.
was reworked a couple of years ago.
Well, it's tore up. I just saw it a couple of days ago.
Yeah, but like Jeff's,
Huh?
like right by like Jeff's.
Yeah, right
house.
where his house is, yeah, right on the corner.
Jeff.
Like on the north
They-
side of Jeff Munoz's house.
Yeah,
There's like a,
Oh,
yeah. It's,
I don't think it was done on that going.
Yeah,
Going to
I
the
don't think it
west.
was, I think it was just.
but anyway, it's tore up.
Okay.
We have numerous places that are coming apart this winter, so
That's all I had.
hopefully
rough
we have
winter.
a aggressive. Alex?
The only thing I guess worth mentioning is, for some reason that I don't quite understand, I get a lot of calls with complaints normally. I guess they figure if they call the town attorney, whatever. I haven't had one in a long time. So, that's a good thing.
Well, either
Change your number.
either we're not doing anything or,
Or he changed his number.
Yeah?
oh,
Usually it has to do with, well, the number one is always police. That goes without saying. But then usually it has to do with, the guys that are trying to maintain streets and stuff. I give a lot of that, but.
Well, good.
Don't bill you for it.
thank you.
Thank you.
We make one exception do you have a comment?
Yes, I do. When are they gonna paint the stop signs? The reason I say is they're getting so bad, you can't even, they're just, kind of a white and that's it.
Do you have a location on a specifically bad one?
Yeah, right over here's one, and
Okay.
down the street down here on, what is that street? This street, just.
I have a project update for you on that as well.
And all that stuff.
Okay, thank you.
When we updated all of the, purchasing all of the street signs, we did purchase a slew of new stop signs. They won't be painted, they will be replaced with the appropriate reflective, signs. And so we have, I think, between 30 and 40 new stop signs that need to be installed. And, we just received them about a month ago, just waiting on the weather to turn enough so that they can put the new ones up. And then there are several that are not in place yet at all, i.e. we need to put a pole in the ground too. So those are also scheduled to go in. But we do have several new ones to replace the faded ones. For those that are on poles that are too short, they will be put on taller poles. For those that are on poles that are all splintered and breaking apart, those will also get new poles and fresh signs.
Maybe we just don't stop. We haven't noticed. Great.
Awesome.
Jackie?
Okay, so, I guess, just since it was brought up, I guess we'll go over, I'd like to go over billing. So the 21st of the month, bills are due. If 21st falls on a weekend, it's the following business day. Late notices are issued on the 22nd, if that's the day after bills are due. Five business days later is when disconnects are issued. 5 days in a row following that disconnect notice is when we would call you if your services were to be disconnected. Although I have not in my entire term ever disconnected anybody. So I always try to reach out to people and make sure I know people are gone on vacation and things, but that is, our fees are $10 for a late fee, $25 for a disconnect fee, for a total of $35. So that is how that works. LEAP is finally working, yay. We have all our people, we're sending in their bills, they're getting processed, so all of that has come together, so.
Can you also explain how, when LEAP, when somebody is approved for LEAP, they are approved for a dollar amount
Yes.
maximum for each utility.
Yes.
So just because somebody has been approved by LEAP for electric, water, and sewer, it might be $600 for electric, $400 for water, $200 for sewer. They cannot and they will not commingle those funds. So if you have exceeded your contribution from LEAP for your electric usage, i.e. you've used up all your $600, you will not get any more money from LEAP for electric. You will continue to get money for water, but that water cannot be applied to electric. And I just wanted to throw that out there because there has been a couple of cases where people were a little bit confused because they thought that because LEAP approved them, that it approved them for the entire winter. Unfortunately, they did not. They only approved them up to a certain dollar amount. If they need more than that, that would be something they would have to take up with LEAP. And if we assisted with the application, we would be happy to assist them with that again. If Alicia over at the senior center assisted, then she would probably be the best point of contact to pick their file back up and help them at that point as well. But again, certain pots of money from LEAP, and by law, we're not allowed to commingle those funds.
So one other thing on that, we've talked privately about this, but I can't remember your answer. So does LEAP look at, is there a spot where you can, designate that you have all electric heat?
So
So they're
if
not-
the only way LEAP will pay electric is if that is your primary heat source. That is the only way that they pay. Otherwise, you would get LEAP for your Black Hills gas, if you have gas. Or if you have propane, then I'm assuming that goes to your propane provider, however, I am not 100% sure. But they pay for the energy source that is for your heating. That is what they pay. Water and sewer is new this year, brand new. I'm assuming that some people got water and sewer and some people didn't. I am not 100% sure how they used that criteria, if that was a spot on the application that was a separate mark, or if that was on a per case basis that they did. So, but in our case, most all of our customers have water and sewer for sure. And then if electric is their primary heat source, they also have electric through us.
Great. Anything else?
Nothing.
Kim?
The plans are final now for the Maple Street reconstruction project. As you know, that's gonna be a major project. We will be reaching out to all the residents on Maple Street as soon as we have a firm, start date for that. Because we will need to make some, concessions for people that don't have access by alley or side street to their home. They'll be doing the street a block at a time. And in addition to that, there will be, alternates on the bid to handle valley pans and to handle, major potholing that has not kind of, stuck when we did the job, so to speak. So we have some larger potholes out there. And so while they're in town, they'll take care of that. We are looking at potentially adding other, wear coursing and asphalt jobs, this summer, but those will be a separate project.
So when is the bid deadline?
We haven't
opening?
released the bid yet. We'll be releasing the bids, and I believe the bids are gonna be due in by, I think it's May. I think we're releasing it around the 1st of May, and they'll be due by the 3rd week of May, approximately. They might be released a little bit sooner.
Man, that's just a skosh late.
Well, we already released it for bid once, and you guys rejected those bids, if you remember. This was I don't know, you might not have been at that meeting. That's the one, where we didn't include some work that needed to be done on that road. And so we didn't feel that the plans in the bid pack were 100% in line with what our vision was for correcting Maple Street. So the engineering plans have been reworked, and we're releasing a whole new set of plans.
I don't remember.
And it's
I've
for
only
a,
missed one meeting in January.
sure. And then
So-
we will the goal is to start Maple Street as soon as school releases.
That makes sense.
Is that the
So
only
that's
street
pretty-
we're doing?
That's the major reconstruction street where we're doing milling and filling and concrete work and all that. So it's a major reconstruction. I have the plans in my office for you.
Well, I'd like to look at them because we need to take the concave out of that street, and put a hump in it so it keeps the water
That's
out
what
where
it-
it belongs in the gutters and not run down the middle of it.
That's what we all said, and then they were like, all right, who's gonna fix the school?
Yeah.
But for the school.
What's the matter with the school? It drains out.
Actually,
goes
they
right
have a
down
big
into
project this summer.
It goes right down into the front door. I mean,
I'd make them
it's,
fix
it's
it.
their bad, it's completely their
I've seen it
terrible
run through there
construction.
several times.
And so I think there's fear about adding to that problem through that section. I think we are going to put a crown in the road where possible, but that section for sure is still gonna
but it's gonna have a proper valley pan down the center.
So I think, yeah, it's got a concrete valley pan.
We've actually had it shot, we've had style surveying out there and a whole bunch, and we can look at the plans, and if you still feel differently, then absolutely, we can have a discussion with the engineer.
Yeah. I've seen how they engineer stuff. East 10th Street still ain't right, and they had that engineered. I could have done that
Different
with a
engineering
DMI
firm.
level better than them guys did. And I told them before they left it wasn't right.
Where on East 10th? The whole thing?
Up there where they poured the curb and gutter up there and they left it 20 feet too short. From the
Way
end,
back in the 80s?
no, no, East 10th Street where you go up the hill.
Oh, where you're going up the hill. Okay, East 10th Street.
But 10th Street's got some bad spots in it too that need to be fixed.
Yeah, we have a lot of road projects for sure that need addressing.
Yep.
Absolutely, and don't forget our railroad crossing and County Road 213 project will be starting this summer. Spring, summer timeframe. Let's see, the rear park project for the new playground, all the materials are in, and that project is estimated to start next month, mid-month, but it's gonna be weather permitting. The general contractor for that is Pine Bluffs Gravel. The stormwater plan is moving right along and on schedule. We have meetings every other week on that project. The final plan, we have a due date of that of June 1st. The SCADA project is like 99.99% done. And we are just thrilled with the outcome. They're just tidying up some loose ends tomorrow, and then ITC will be on the road back home, and we will have a completely new SCADA system. I would be happy to show you how it's gonna look on a cell phone. I don't have access via computer, but it is going to be an amazing new system that we can build on. And we will be building on it once we bring well 2 back online. And then plans for the north property are moving right along. We're gonna be releasing request for bid for a road grader, as well as a request for bid for the police interceptors. And we are starting on some airport, I wanna call it landscape projects, but it's really not landscape. It's, we discussed it a little bit last year. We are going to be centering the culvert that goes under the entrance to the airport, because right now it's kind of off to one side and it's actually crushed in the middle. So we're cleaning up that entrance. We're gonna grade it, level it, put some gravel down there. And we're also putting in a tumbleweed catch down in the area where we don't mow, so that they don't all come up to the front gate of the airport. And again, that's just gonna be like a catch fence. We'll still have to yank the tumbleweeds out of there. It just won't be unsightly or knocking people over when they're trying to get through the gate.
Do we still have a $40,000
Thrasher? Yes, we do.
Right.
We do.
that we've never used?
Oh, we use it.
Yeah, okay.
We do. We use it a minimum of once a year to get all the tumbleweeds out of the fence. But when they're all built up in that front corner by the gate, it's usually the middle of winter, and the Thrasher doesn't like the snow, so.
Honestly, I think we need to, I mean, we spent a lot of money out there. We need to improve the look
main
of
gate,
that area,
just as
the main
ugly.
gate.
Right.
Maybe, I think we've talked, create a couple parking spots outside the gate, so, you know, we actually have activity out there now, and,
Yeah.
so.
And we do have a full landscape plan for that area. But what we have to do first is, we currently don't have enough water flow for irrigation from the well that's out there, so we need to do a flow test to determine if it's the pump that's in the well that's the issue, or is it just that we're trying to run, you know, 5/8 inch water line all the way from the well, which is over by the T hangers, all the way over to the terminal building, because we have very low water pressure there. So we're doing a few more tests there. If in fact everything is okay and we just have a valve issue, then we may be able to proceed with landscaping out there. But if it's more than that and we have to run water line, then that will be too costly for this year, and we'll have to build up our airport funds again to make that happen. And just a reminder, airport funds are separate funds. We can't take funds from other departments and use them at the airport, and we can't use airport money anywhere else.
Have we been paid back for the, like Torrington, when we give them our monies that we had?
We
Does
have
anybody
been.
owe us money back?
Nobody owes us money back, but we, in fact, owe other people money, so I have our request, annual request for approval, and, I'll just need Alex and the mayor's signature, but yes, we have been paid back from other airports. Yep, I think the last one was Torrington,
Yeah.
so.
Great. Anything else? Meeting,
Okay, so for a second meeting this month, if you all want to pull up your calendars, the 22nd or the 29th, those are your choices. Give me your thoughts.
well,
What
given
time?
that it's the 10th,
There's no one, they're both on Wednesday.
I'm open for suggestions.
well, I don't care either way, but
Me
it's
neither.
awful close, like the 22nd is next week.
Yes.
So, and then it's, I mean, for spreading them out, I would say the 29th is better, but I guess I don't really have a strong opinion either way.
I think the 29th works better for me. Also, it's further away from this meeting.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
4:30 would be the
Fine with
soonest.
me.
4 is a little close for my husband to get home and take the kids.
Okay,
He panics.
so, but you can make, what about you, Bubba? The rest of us don't have.
29th is fine.
At 4:30?
Yeah. Okay.
29th at 4:30.
Okay, 29th at 4:30. Got it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Awesome.
And do we have, is there the regional
Oh,
meeting this week?
Tom
Yeah,
has an
the
update on that.
16th at 5:30 at WAM office in Cheyenne.
They moved that from the 14th to the
Yeah.
16th.
14th worked a lot better for me.
Yeah, me too.
All right, sounds good. I'll hear a motion.
I move to adjourn. Second.
You weren't fast enough that time. I get impatient
It's
after a
been
while.
moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thanks, everyone.